Hello, ladies and gents. Happy Wednesday for Mrs. Robinson and Mrs. Jackson's class. Welcome to online learning and the huge responsibility that it is, because it is on you to make sure you're on task and to want to learn. Those folks that want to learn, you guys are going to do great. You really are. And the ones that don't, you got to find it. You got to find that want. Because honestly, what I've learned already from online teaching, the students that take advantage of the material, you can learn at a faster pace as in school. But the ones that want to click to a new tab or play a game or not participate in everything, it's going to really hurt you. So make sure that you're up for that challenge. All right, the first task that you were supposed to complete in math, the challenge questions. Hopefully you've already done them and you already kind of know how you did. I'm going to go over these real quick and then we'll jump into today's lesson. Remember, you can kind of, no, you can't, never mind. All right. So here we go. The first one, we are going to round 13 and 95 hundredths to the tens place, okay? Not the tenths place, which I'm sure I got some of you guys confused with. The tens place does not sound like a fraction. Tenths sounds like a fraction. So this is tens, and the tens place is right here. So if 10 is your smallest value that you're allowed to use, is it closer to 10 or 20? Well, remember, the decimal tells you you have 13 wholes, and 1 is in the tens place. 13, is it closer to 10 or 20? That answer is it's closer to 10, and the way you determine that is you look at the first digit to the right of the place you're rounding to, and if it's smaller than a 5, you just keep it the way it is, and if it's bigger than a 4, then you round up to the next value. So this is 10. 13 and 95 hundredths rounds to the tens place. Now here, so there's 2 digits after the decimal, which means it's in the hundredths place. And there's only 1 digit here, 5/10, which is the same as 50/100. So you have to understand that. Let me write it on the board. We have 18 and 76 hundredths. And we are going to subtract 9 and 5/10. You have to make sure the decimal are lined up. And you have the top number, you lose the bottom. I have 6, I lose nothing. That's 6. I have 7, I lose 5. That's 2. Keep the decimal in that place. So you can look at it like 18 minus 9 is 9. Or you can look at it like I got to borrow from the 1. So 18 minus 9 is 9. So 9 and 26 hundredths is your answer there. What is 1/5 of 30? So this is what we're working on right now in math. 1/5 of 30. So if you're finding 1/5 of 30, 1/5 of means multiply, and then 30. Well, the only way you can multiply fractions is they both have to be fractions. So 30 is not a fraction. It's a whole number. So the way to make it a fraction is you put a 1 after it. Okay? 1 times 30 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5. And that's the beautiful part of multiplying. You just go across. And then 30/5. 5/5 is a whole. So 30/5 means you can pull out 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can pull out 6 5/5, which it means the answer is 6 wholes with nothing left over. A farmer owns a cornfield that is 23 acres in size. He wants to plant the full 23 acres with corn, but he is only, corn and is only 1/5 of the way finished. So he only is 1/5 of 23 finished. So how many acres does he have left? Well, if he's 1/5 done, he still has 4/5 to go. So we want to figure out what 4/5 of 23 is. Woo, tough. 4/5 of 23. So we have 4/5 of means multiply, and we're going to figure out what 4/5 of 23 is. Remember, the challenge questions are challenging. So the blue ones I expect that you know. The yellow ones, not necessarily yet, okay? So be patient if this was too complicated. But this is something that you're going to have to know. So 4 times 23. So I'm going to do a little side math here and do 23 times 4. And I get 92. So I'm going to put 92 there. And I'm going to say 5 times 1 is 5. Now, I have to figure out what 92/5 is. I want to figure out how many 5s are in 92. So I'm going to take out as many 5s as I can. 5 goes into 9 one time. There's 4 left over. Bring down to 2. And 5 goes into 40 8 times. And there's 2 left over. So you need 5 to make a new group. There's 2 left over. So the answer is 18 2/5 acres. Once again, that was a challenge question. It is actually 5th grade material. However, we didn't get to it yet. Okay. So there's a couple different tricks that I just did that we didn't get to yet. So if you're frustrated, it's okay. It's a challenge question. It's supposed to be challenging. The top 3 I covered. The bottom one I did not yet. So your math schedule. The first 10 minutes of math, the challenge question. And there's a homework check as well. So you should have completed the challenge questions and the homework check. And then after that, you have your math lesson, which is this video that you're watching right now. And it doesn't have the amount of minutes filled out yet because I don't know how long it's going to be. But if this is 10 minutes, this is 25 minutes. I'm going to give you about a half an hour or 35 minutes here. And then so you get this done first, and then you finish this, and then I'll meet you for a math Zoom for the last 15 minutes of our class. Okay, dokie. So we are now going to start today's lesson, which is page 88 or 89. Let's check it out. It's Unit 3, Lesson 3. Looks like it is page 89. So what I would like for what I'm asking you to do, I want to be clear on this. Open your books to page 89, and I want you to write these answers in. Okay, so if your parents say, "Did you do what you're supposed to in math today?" They could literally take your math book and say, "Oh yeah, you filled it out. Good job." So you do want to fill it out, and you could pause me too. You're allowed to pause me. Don't mute me though, because then you're not learning. But you can pause me. All right, so the first question says, we have Farmer Diaz. And Farmer Diaz has 3 acres of land. And Farmer Diaz is going to plow that land. He plows 1/5 of his land. So the number of acres is 1/5 of 3 that he plowed, right? Because he has 3 acres of land. And he's going to say, out of my 3 acres, I'm going to plow 1/5 of the entire thing. So we need to figure out what 1/5 of 3 is. And of means multiply, of means multiply, of means multiply. So let's get a visual here. 1/5 of 3. Okay, so yeah, we said that. A fraction of something means multiply. There is Farmer Diaz. Look at that man work. Look at his land. Looks beautiful. So Farmer Diaz got a nice piece of equipment there. And he's got 3 acres. But he plows 1/5 of it. So we need to figure out how much land old Diaz plowed. So here's a beautiful picture representing all of his land, but not yet the land that he plowed, right? Those are his 3 acres. See, I broke them into boxes of acreage, and then he's going to plow 1/5 of it. Okay, so what I did here is I made his whole land, I went sideways, and I made 5 equal bars sideways with his land. Okay. And then I said, okay, if he plowed 1/5 of it, I highlighted 1 of those 5 slices. But you have the lines going up and down that represent his total acreage. So we can actually figure out how many acres he plowed with this picture, because his entire land is broken into 5ths of 3. So On the left, you have number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5/5, that's 1 acre. Stahl, you're confusing me. Okay, let me just show you what you have to know. You don't need to draw pictures like that. What you have to know is how to find 1/5 of 3. And the way you do that is multiplication. So you just go ahead and line it up like this. 1/5 times 3. Well, 3 is a whole number. And when we multiply, we have to multiply fraction and fraction. So we have to take 1/5, which is already a fraction, and we have to take 3, which is not a fraction, and make it a fraction by giving it a name. And what is it 3 of? It's 3 wholes. So you give it a name by putting a little 1 under it. That's it. So is this still worth 3 wholes? Yes, it's worth 3 wholes. 3 with a 1 under it, it's 3 wholes. So now you multiply across, and you have 1. You multiply it by 3, you get 3. You get 5, multiply it by 1, you get 5. And your answer is 3/5. Okay, so you don't have to worry about drawing pictures and you know, whether or not that makes sense to you, the picture that I drew. You just need to know how to turn this into a multiplication problem, multiply across, and simplify it if needed. 3/5 is your answer. Let's look at the next. So that was just the example. Let's look at the question, the next question. The next question is about yet another farmer, but this is Farmer Smith. And he has 4 acres of land. She has 4 acres of land, and she's going to plow 1/3 of that land. So they want you to first divide and shade the drawing to show the part of the land that she plows. Well, we got her 4 acres. Each of those acres, she's going to plow 1/3, right? That makes sense because the entire land is 1/3. So just she's going to highlight 1/3 of each. Okay. Oh, there's a picture of Farmer Smith. That's a girl, right? Because it was the first Farmer Smith that I found on Google. So there's your Farmer Smith, and it's Miss Farmer Smith, and it looks like she farms pea straw. Interesting. So we have 4 acres of land. She plows 1/3 of the land, divide and shade. Okay, we can. So we're going to divide each of those into 3/3. No way you do that is you just put your marks going left to right. And then we just want to highlight one of each of those boxes, right? One of each of the boxes. And then that will show us our 1/3 of 4. And now we just have to find the answer. So it says, can you show us a sum of unit fractions? Well, those are nasty words, right? Sum means the answer to an addition problem, and unit fractions means one of them. So they want us to add all the one. Why did I put 12? Oh, I put 1/12 because the entire thing is 1/12, right? So each little box is 1/12 of her land. However, Mr. Stahl messed up because they're not supposed to be 1/12s. We're not saying of the land. We're saying of the her each acre, right? So it's 1/3 4 times because she has 4 acres. So 1/3 plus 1/3. Oh, I'm the worst mouse writer in the world. Plus 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 4/3. And 4/3 is the same thing as 1 and 1/3. Let me just double check to see if that's what they're looking for here. Yes, it is. So they did want us to turn it into thirds, not 12s. Okay? So write down 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. You don't even have to put equals 4/3. They're not even looking for that yet. That's us getting that answer for them. All right, let's move on. Next question. So what is 1/3 of 4? Well, 1/3 of 4, you're going to multiply 1/3 times 4, turn 4 into a fraction, so it's 4/1, right? And then just multiply across. Multiply your 2 numerators, multiply your 2 denominators, and that is multiplying fractions. It's a beautiful thing. You get 4/3. But you are smarter than that. You know 4/3 is not our final answer because it can't be, because it's improper. So how do you make 4/3 not improper? Oh, we pull out wholes. So how many thirds make a whole? 3. 3/3 make a whole, and I have 4 of them. So I have a hole hidden in there. So let's pull that hole out. Right? Here's our 4/3. See that how the hole's right here because 3/3 makes a hole, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So right here I have 1 hole, and then there's still 1/3 left over. The way I taught you guys to do it is take this out of that, and then anything left over, you have to account for. So there's a 1/3 left over. So the answer is 1 hole and a 1/3. So that is your answer to number 3. What area does Farmer Smith plow? 1 1/3 acres. There's Farmer Smith. Thank you, Farmer Smith. Let's move on. Oh, we got another farmer. Man, we just have a day full of farmers. This is Farmer Hanson, and Farmer Hanson is going to plow 1/7 of his 2 acres of land. How nice. So what area does he plow? So we just need to figure out what 1/7 of his land is, and his land is 2 acres. So 1/7 of 2. Pause it, try to figure it out, and then unpause it, and I'll give you the answer. 1/7 of 2. Here's the answer. 1/7 times 2. Turn that 2 you can't do it like that. You got to have fraction and fraction. Can we turn 2 into a fraction? Yes, sir. Ma'am, sir. Put a 1 under it. 2 times 1 is 2. Oops. 2 times 1 is 2. 7 times 1 is 7. That's your answer. 2/7 is your answer. That guy looks happy. 2/7 of his land. Now we have Olga. Sounds familiar. Like a place that you could eat at back in the day when you could eat at places. Olga's going to walk 9 blocks to school. Her friend Louis, I think it's Louis, walks only 1/5 of that distance. How many blocks does Louis walk to school? So if Olga walks 9 blocks and Louis only walks 1/5 of that, how far did Louis walk? Well, we want to figure out what 1/5 of 9 is. Of means multiplication because we're finding a fraction of something. So you look here, I have a number line, and let's pretend this is a hole. So this would be Olga's house, and this would be school, and then it's broken into 5 pieces. And Olga is only 1/5 of that distance. So Louis is only 1/5. So Louis is going to be like right here because he only got 1/5 of the way to go. Let's get better pictures. Let's think of Olga. What can Olga's house look like? That looks great. That looks like a good Olga house. And then what could school look like? That's not school. Oh, let's make our 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks. Perfect. Those are wonderful blocks to walk. And then we have the school. There's the school. And then we have oh, I never drew our friend, did I? I don't think I did. So our friend's going to be somewhere around here. Somewhere around here is where our friend's house lives, and I will do a beautiful mouse drawing. Oh yeah, look at that house. That's pretty. See? Very pretty. Okay, so we want to figure out what 1/5 of 9 is, and we can't multiply that. Why? Because it's a whole number and a fraction. It doesn't work like that. You have to have both fractions. So my beautiful drawing's in the way. 1/5 of 9 is 1/5 times 9 over 1. Multiply across, we get 9/5. 9/5 is bigger than a whole. Why? Because you only need 5 of them. The bottom one tells you how many pieces you need for a whole. The bottom one tells you the top one tells you how many pieces you have. So I can pull out 1 whole, and there's still 4 pieces left over after I pull out 1 whole from it, because 1 whole's 5. and then 4 left over. And what are they? They're fifths, so you keep fifths there. So that answer is 1 4/5. Let's get number 6. Which one is not like the others? Well, let's just come up with their answers real quick, and one of them is going to be very different than the others. So we have 3/4. 1/4 times 3, or 1/4 of 3, put a 1 under it, is 3/4. What about 1/4 times 3? Well, isn't that the same thing? Yes, it is. 1/3 times 3 is 3/4. 4 times a third. Ooh, different, right? 4 times a third, you do 4, multiply by 1/3, put a 1 under it, multiply across, multiply across. This is the weird one. Let's make sure the other ones come out to be 3/4. We have 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. That's 3/4. And we have 3 of a fourth, or 3 times a fourth, which 3, put a 1 under it, times a fourth. That's 3/4. So boom, we have our answer. Our answer is 4 1/3. Now we have 1/7 of 2, or 1/7 times 2. So the author of your book wants you guys to find this answer and then demonstrate this answer with using that number line right there, and draw a circle to demonstrate your answer. So 1/7 times 2 is like 2 1/7. So what they wanted you to do is show a seventh on this side. You know, between 0 and 1 is 1/7. So they want you to show a seventh. And then between 1 and 2 is another seventh. And they wanted you to show that 1/7 times 2 could be demonstrated like that, which has an answer of 1/7 and another seventh, which that answer is 2/7, right? But in all reality, this is what I want you to be able to do. This is wonderful if you can visualize it. It means your number sense, your understanding of numbers is great. But in all reality, I don't care about you being able to put it on a number line as much as I care about you being able to say, oh, I need to find 1/7 of 2, put your fraction, turn 2 into a fraction, find your answer. Let's try it with this one, 3/7 of 2. So that would be 3/7 of 1. Oh, all right, so let's first find the answer the real way. 3/7 of means times or multiply, and then 2 over 1, and then you get 6/7, right? To demonstrate that on the number line, we can highlight 3/7 of 1, and then 3/7 of another 1, which means 3/7 of 2, or 2 3/7, and then together that's 6/7. Here's your homework. This is what I want you to do. This is what, if you have a little bit of time, I don't know, where you're at with our schedule. Remember, the last 15 minutes, we're going to Zoom together. But if you have a little time, you could try this on your own right now. If not, yes, you should have time. Try these questions right now. You know what? To make it better, I will not make you do the number line part. Okay? I will not make you do the number line part. So you could put a big old X-a-rooney on the number line part and just come up with these answers. Okay? And then we will go over these answers together in your Zoom. So try those answers, and I will see you guys in a little bit. All right. Thank you for watching.